Alright, we're still in Chapter 2, Section 2.1, Part 1, and we're on number 5, Solving and Checking Equations. So we have this problem, 4x minus 10 equals 5x plus 7. So we have both variables and constants on both sides of the equation. So we can use the addition property to get the variables on one side and constants on the other. Alright, note that on the left side there's a 4x, on the right side there's a 5x. So the larger coefficient is on the right side. So what I'm going to do is keep the variables on the right side, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4x off this side, on the left side, so that I won't have any x's on the left side of the equation, but I have to do that on the right side as well. So I'm going to do this vertically. Notice I'm just subtracting 4x from both sides. And at the same time, I'm going to make sure that since the right hand has the variables, I'm not going to have the constant of plus 7. So at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 7 on the right side, which means I also have to subtract it on the left side. So what I'm doing is, in one step, I'm adding negative 4x minus 7 to both sides of the equation. So what happens when I do that? Well, on the left-hand side, the 4x minus 4x cancels, and be careful here, this is a negative 10 plus a negative 7. Don't think of it as 10 minus 7, it's a negative 10 minus 7. So that's negative 17. And on the right side, I've got 5x minus 4x is x. Perfect, so we've solved for x. And the 7's cancel, because when you add, you get a 0. So negative 17 equals x is the same thing as writing x equals negative 17. So it looks like our solution is negative 17. Now, for every single problem, there are several ways that you could do it and still get the answer of negative 17. So this is just one way of doing it. Now we've got to check our answer. So we write the problem down again, and we're going to plug in negative 17 for x and do the order of operations. So I'm going to put a 4 times negative 17 minus 10, and order of operations means you multiply first. That's a negative 68 minus 10, which is negative 78. So the left hand side simplifies to negative 78. On the right side of the equation, I also have to plug in negative 17 and do the order of operations to simplify it. So 5 times negative 17 is negative 85 plus 7. And now I'm adding a negative and a positive. There's more negatives, so I have to do 85 minus 7, which is also 78. So I did get the same number on both sides, so it checks. So my solution over here is correct of negative 17. Number 6. We have 3 times x plus 7 equals 2x minus 5. Before doing anything else, you need to make sure each side is simplified. And on the left-hand side, you have something in parentheses times 3, so you need to start off by doing the distributive property. So we do 3 times x, which is 3x, plus 3 times 7, which is 21, equals 2x minus 5. Right. Now that looks similar to the previous problem we just did. Alright, so on the left-hand side I've got 3x, and on the right-hand side I have 2x. So the bigger coefficient is on the left. I'd like to keep the variables on the left-hand side, so that means I want to get rid of the 2x, which is on the right-hand side. So if I subtract 2x from both sides, I'll have the x's on the left side, and notice on the right side they're going to cancel. In fact, you could write down that you're going to have x left here and you'll have 0 here. But if I have x on the left side, I'd like to also get rid of the plus 21. So I could subtract 21 from both sides so that when I add 21 and minus 21, I get 0. But if whatever you do to the left side of the equation, you have to do to the right side of the equation. So that gives me x equals negative 5 and minus 21 is a negative 26. So the answer here is negative 26. Now you could do this in 2 steps. You could first subtract 2x from both sides, either horizontally or vertically, and then at the next step you could subtract 21 from both sides. That's just another way to do it. And there are many ways you could do it. I could take and do it 5 different ways. Alright, so it looks like the solution is negative 26, but of course, could have made a mistake, and that's exactly why we check our answer, and that's what's so awesome about algebra. You could check to see if you got it correct or not before turning in your test. That's exactly why you check your work. And of course, if it's part of getting credit on a test, that's another good reason to do it. All right, now, so we're going to check by writing down the original problem, plugging in the value for the variable, and then you must use the order of operations on both sides, which means you do not do the distributive property. Keep that in mind. You never do the distributive property when you're checking, because if they're just numbers, you simply add inside the parentheses. All right, so if I put in negative 26 in, I get 3 times, right, negative 26 plus 7, you're adding a negative and a positive, more negatives, and 26 minus 7 is 19. So we're going to need a little bit more space here. So then I have 3 times negative 19, positive times negative is negative, and 3 times 19 is 57. All right, now on the right side, we're going to plug in 26 for x as well. I'm sorry, negative 26. So we have 2 times negative 26 minus 5, and again, we're just going to do the order of operation. 2 times negative 26 is negative 52 minus 5. And remember, that's a negative 52 plus negative 5 if you want to change it to adding the opposite, which is negative 57. And now note, you get the same number on both sides. So that means the answer was correct, negative 26. So our solution was negative 26. Number 7, 3.6 equals n plus 1.88. All right, so what would you do if it was 3 equals n plus 1? You would just subtract 1, but instead of plus 1, it's plus 1.88, so we want to subtract 1.88 from both sides. But you have to be careful here. We're dealing with decimals, and when you subtract, you want to line up decimals. So you might want to rewrite this 3.6 so it has the same number of decimal points as the 1.88. So if we look at it this way, then if we subtract 1.88, there's a place to line up your decimal points. Since this will give us our variable on the right-hand side, we're isolating that to n. And then on the left, now we have to subtract. All right, so you go ahead and do your subtraction. Hopefully that's right. And it's positive, so then you'd write your answer as n equals 1.72, or using a solution set, you would just put it in the braces. Now let's check and make sure I did it correct. So on this side, we just got 3.6. That's the easy side. And over here, we're going to put in 1.72. So we're going to plug in for n 1.72 plus 1.88. Okay, let's just do that down here. 1.88 plus 1.72. Let's see, 0, carry the 1. 16, carry the 1. 3, which is 3.60. But 3.60 is the same thing as 3.6. So yes, you get the same answer on both sides. All right, number 8. Again, we put variables on both sides of the equation. And just to be different this time, usually I look and see where the larger coefficient is and I keep the variables on that side. But just to be a little bit different, I'm going to go ahead and put the variables on the left, just so you could see you could do it either way. So I need to subtract 5m from both sides, so all the variables are on the left side of the equation. All right, so if the variables are on the left side, then I don't want to have this minus 2, so I'm going to have to add 2 to both sides, so that I have the variables on the left, constants on the right. So let's do that. 4n minus 5n is negative n. And on the right side, 0. It completely cancels. So then you would just take the opposite of both sides, multiply both sides by negative 1, divide both sides by negative 1, and you're still going to get 0. So n is 0. So let's quickly check that one. We're going to plug in 0 for n. So we have 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. And 5 times 0 minus 2 is also 0 minus 2. And there you go. It checks. All right. So when you have a minus in front of the variable, remember you take the opposite of both sides. But the opposite of 0 is still 0. So there's no signs to change. Don't put a minus sign in front of the 0. All right. That's the end of part 1 of 2.1.